As the saying goes, another day, another deck. My KeyForge friends, thank you for your insight and comments on my vlog yesterday that I did on the Key Thoughts, talking about AOA. I really appreciate it. I love everyone's perspective and hearing what they think about the different topics I bring up. And make sure you go listen to the latest Hell from Future Self episode because we talk about an interesting topic that is dying. That's right. We talk about the 2-minute deck list evaluation and the importance of it and kind of how it's not a thing right now with TCO. So yeah, check it out. But without further ado, let's get into this deck, which is not a mass mutation deck. It is, I don't even know how to say this, Belhel of the King's Citadel. Whew, that's a tight name. And it is Mars, Sanctum, Logos. Oh, I don't know what set this could be from, but we'll find out soon enough. Part of me is, I'm hoping it's AOA, but anytime I see Mars, I hope it's AOA, so I may have a bias. The Archon looks very CotA, but let's see what it actually is. Here we go. First up we have, oh, it is AOA. That's kind of funny, right? Just talking about my appreciation for AOA, do it yesterday, and we get another one today. So we're kicking things off with HelperBot, double HelperBot, lab work, poke, Professor Stutz, Sutterkin. Oh, I always thought it was, I just realized I always pronounce it Professor Stutterkin, but it's Sutterkin. Live and learn. ZYX, a backup copy, Director, Graft, Fetch Drones, Master the Theory, onto Mars with a Carpet Flotsam, Double Phlox, Collector Worm, Fix Finger, Mars First, Mind Worm, Mother Gun, Sky Booster, Key Abduction, Red Planet Ray Gun, Double Ray Gun, and onto Sanctum with a Boutrum, a Bond, Obad, Golden Aura, Healing Blast, Protect the Weak, Cermeros, Smite, Doorstep, Equalize, Hadroth, and lastly we have a Sanctum Guardian. I do like this deck. I think it's very interesting. Let's do the counts quick for the basics to have an understanding before our eval. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 creatures, so not super high. Pips, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Oh, but good pips. 15 to 16, I think that's a pretty solid ratio. And there are the rest of the stats for you. Now, let's take a look at what this deck can do for us. So, Sanctum. Just had a discussion, replied to a comment on my YouTube about yesterday's AOA thing, talking about how Sanctum in AOA is glorious, and I kind of feel that this is a glorious Sanctum. Why do I like this Sanctum, you ask? Well, dear listener and viewer, the reason being is that these three are boss status. That's right. These are some of my favorite things to have in AOA Sanctum. Of course, having Obad, some Ember control, having Obond to create the armor on this, and then having Boutrum to further fuel either an Obad or any of these things. I mean, put it next to a Sanctum Guardian, and that's really tight. Hadros Wall is going to make even things more beastly. Loving the Equalize in today's game. This card is fantastic, especially when you have a big creature like Sanctum Guardian out there with a Hadros Wall. You can pretty much just put the Ember on one of your opponent's creatures with hopefully a lot of Exalting or Capturing in the Mass Mutation world and just have a payday. And then of course Doorstep to Heaven. That scaling Ember control now is important, more so than ever, and against a Mass Mutation you'll have an advantage. Smite, again, gives you the ability to do a Reap and then fight, or a double fight, whatever you feel like doing. And Sir Meros is going to create that ability to have actually your equalize. He can capture it, drop it on an Obad with some armor and a Boutrum, and guess what? You can just start taking that Ember to the bank. I also really like Golden Aura. Again, that's going to protect things like maybe if you're going using your Sanctum Guardian to just smash face and really get things going, that's going to give you the ability to fully heal that and use it. Or, you know what? Use one of your other creatures. We got Red Planet Ray Guns in the mix, right? That's going to mean that you can just reap with something and out of house and get some value. So that makes me think of, I'm going to want to use maybe the Collector Worm a few times. I like the Carpet Flotsams because I have a lower creature count. That actually means that these could be really powerful. That also means Master the Theory could come into play. Just jumping around here real quick. Mars First is going to put in work. Let's look at this, right? We're going to Mars First with a Red Planet Ray Gun. So you put a double Red Planet Ray Gun on something, and then you Mars First whatever you just put in. Probably a Collector Worm or a Fixed Finger, whatever you're feeling. You're going to be able to do some serious damage there. I am noticing that, of course, there's a lack of board wipe in this, aside from the Carpet Flotsams, which actually could be all that's necessary based on the lower creature count, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, I do like the Mars First. Key Abduction, you know what? I think Key Abduction is a thing in this deck. You're probably saying, but Blake, how can Key Abduction be a thing in a deck with only 5 Mars creatures? Well, dear friends, I'll tell you why. Because we have things like Master the Theory, we have Director ZYX, we have Stutterkins, we have Labworks, so you could actually use your Helper Bot to Key Abduct. That's right. Throwing that out there right now. I think it is possible because of the archiving capabilities of this deck. I'm going to say right now that I think this is a good AOA deck. I think it might be lacking a bit of the Ember control, but it has enough that I think it matters that it's going to get you there. And honestly, I've gone 3 out of 4 pretty solid AOA decks, so this is not a common thing. I will tell you that I have a theory about AOA decks, and that is the AOA 2-player starters, I think, have better rated decks as a average thing that I've noticed. I've gotten my best decks from there. And all the 4 decks that I actually happen to have in this Advent come from the 2-player starters. So now let's quickly go over to Logos. Logos, oh, you have my heart right now. The double Helper Bot with the stunning art from Natalie Russo. Yes, I will talk about her often when her art is present because she's my fave. Is really great. It's going to give you that house cheating. The poke is great as well. The Sutterkin is really great because you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 creatures. So that's going to be a thing. Having the, I actually like a backup copy. There's really great targets for that. The Researcher and the Helper Bots are really, really good targets for that. The Graft is really great. Fetch Drones. Yeah, you know what? I actually don't mind the Fetch Drones because there's some cool things I think you could do here with potentially getting the capturing. And then there's also the fact that you could even set it up because if you could potentially backup copy for a Fetch Drones play, you're going to know that's going to go on top of your deck, throw that in there. And then you could do things like you're going to get to cycle, right? So you're going to put 2 things into your discard, which also allows the ZYX play. So you could actually put the top 2 things into your discard, and then you're going to have your ZYX to potentially pull those back. And I really like that. And it's going into your archives again, which goes to the Key Abduction play. Graft, again, that's another little bit of scaling Ember control that can come into play. I really like this deck. This deck is exactly what I want to see in a AOA deck. I think out of all the houses, Mars is the weakest in this one, but I don't think it's bad. It has some tools that I think are going to be really good. Unfortunately, the creature thing is you're not going to be able to rely purely on the reaping, but I do think Sanctum will probably be the more board-based house that you're calling more frequently, especially when you have cards like Smite and Golden Aura, which is going to basically allow you to have that ability to use some of your other houses in this. So I think Sanctum's going to be what you're looking to call to advance forward. So I really hope you like this evaluation. I really enjoyed this one. I found this deck to be a real joy to go over, and I hope you felt the same way. And let me know if there's something you think that is there that I maybe didn't cover. So let me know your thoughts. This is Bell Hell of the King's Citadel. Dope name. And as always, may your ember never be stolen and your keys forged promptly. Have a good one.